Hi, and welcome to Safe and Sound Wellbeing.com. This mini masterclass designed to be an aid memoir for those that have been on the half-day or one-day course, and also an introduction to those who want to know more about my world and what I do. My name is Russ Magnall. I'm a 30-year-old, not 30-year-old, a 30-year police veteran. And I should say from the outset, that the video that you're going to watch for the next 45 minutes or so is the real deal. No filters, no cuts, no edits, no fancy artwork. This is exactly as it is in a Safe and Sound Masterclass where we're face to face. So you're likely to see some hiccups and errors along the way. So we start with that one, a 30-year police veteran, PC Sergeant Inspector. I was a dog handler for 9 years. Fantastic job. Imagine going to work with your best buddy. If you're a dog lover, an animal lover, imagine going to work and getting paid for it. Absolutely fantastic. PC Sergeant Inspector, counter-terrorist search team leader, and also one of the proudest caps that I wore was that of Wellbeing coach. How do we keep our cops fit and well day to day with the stuff that they do? What is it that we share up there to help them cope well with everything that's thrown at them? My cops were the first into the arena on the night that Salman Abedi detonated his device. What was it that kept those cops fit and well that night and the days and weeks that followed? What is it that keeps our cops fit and well every day? Not only to do the stuff they do as police officers, but also face their challenges, their everyday challenges, the stuff that you and I face every day. How do they cope? We have a pot of safe and sound tips, tools, and techniques to share with you. But the pot is wider than policing. We examine our military colleagues. How do the men and women of our armed forces stay fit and well up here? What is it that drives them on through unimaginable stuff that they have to face? So we take that gold and we put it into the pot of safe and sound. And then to our Olympians, our Olympic champions, what is it that they have up here that pushes them on to Olympic gold? We share all of this with you today. And finally, to some of the strongest men and women that history has shown us, we take the learning from the Holocaust survivor from World War II, Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. We take out some of the gold there that can help us in everyday life get through the challenges and traumas that we face. We start today with the stress bucket. So in the room, if we're in the room, some of you will recognize this. The stress bucket, half full of water. We'll transport this onto the flip chart today, just for ease of demonstration. And here's how it goes. The stress bucket, invented by the scientists Brabham and Turkington some years ago, helps us to understand what's going on. And it works like this, super simple. The bucket, stress bucket, already half full of water. The water representing stress levels, the bucket representing our body, our mind, our thinking. So already half full. Half full because of the stresses of life, the stresses of what's going on now, what's gone on before, the stuff that we know, the way our brain operates, some of the stuff that goes on in our mind that we're yet to uncover, who knows. So we start off half full of stuff, everyday stuff. And I take you to the example of Sarah. Now, Sarah has a meeting tomorrow morning at work, 10 o'clock in the morning, really important meeting. So she sets her alarm clock the night before and hopes to be out of bed early to get to the meeting in good time, refreshed, focused, ready to go. Now, this sort of stuff can happen to any of us. The alarm clock doesn't go off, so she's 20 minutes out of bed. Straight away, a bit more stress comes into the bucket, a bit more stress loading onto us. Dives out of bed, has a wash, gets dressed, out onto the road. Because she's running late, the traffic has started to build up. Oh no, come on, I'm on the minutes now. A little bit more stress goes in the bucket. Gets to a roundabout. A bus pulls out on her. Doesn't say thank you. Road rage, one of her triggers, one of the things that really irritates her. Straight away, a little bit more goes in the pot. Gets to work, the entrance to the work controlled by a barrier. 4 cars in front of her. The guy at the front has forgotten his identity badge. Security, quite rightly, checking him out, make sure he's legit. She's sat in that queue, get a move on, get a move on. And all the while, the stress in the bucket is rising up. Understand that. While she's sat waiting for this queue to move, ping, text from her daughter. Mum, where are my trainers? I need my trainers today. It's PE. I told you last night to put your trainers out ready and get all your stuff ready. Those watching who've got children, you will understand. So she races through the door to her meeting with 1 minute to spare, a little bit flustered, her stress levels up here. How much potentially might it take for the bucket, the water, to spill over? As little as a thimbleful. The tiniest little thing can just send you over the edge. The stress bucket, the scientists Brabham and Turkington, plenty of science online to underpin its use, and a good way for us today to start and examine what can happen to any of us in any situation in everyday life. And 2 bits with this as an added extra. So the story of Sarah, it mounted up very, very quickly, just on a morning. But what about you go through a period of a couple of years of stress loaded on? Job, health perhaps, family, friends, money, neighbours. It can be anything. Slowly building up until the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's not where we're going. Safe and Sound will help prevent it. The Stress Bucket by Brabham and Turkington. So we can apply that analogy to so many different things in life. But what are the instant wins from policing, from Russ's life, from the military and from our Olympians that can immediately start to drain the bucket? The simplest and easiest technique is through our breathing. Some of you will already know this. People that practice yoga, you'll be well familiar with the benefits of mindful breathing and controlling your breathing. Safe and Sound Wellbeing shares 2 techniques, only 2. And I'm going to share the first one with you today. And it's quite simply this: 3 breaths. So if we link to a saying from Viktor Frankl, our Jewish friend that survived the horrors of the Holocaust, who says, between every action and response, there is a space. And within that space, we have a choice of what to do. Breathing, controlling your breathing, 3 breaths will create that space. We go to our underwater search teams and the police. During survival training, they are taught, if you get trapped underwater, you get entangled underwater, what you tell yourself in those moments is critical. So they are trained to adopt a mantra that automatically comes into their head. And I suggest we do the same with this one. As long as you have oxygen and can breathe, everything else can be worked out. And it's only when you get to post-policing, to my age, if you like, I'm 60 now, and you look back, it's true. As long as you've got oxygen and can breathe, everything can be worked out. So back to 3 breaths. Why 3? 3 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Number 2, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Number 3, in through your nose, out through your mouth. It has an immediate effect on your physiology, your body. It automatically starts to calm things down. And it also creates the space up here for you to respond well rather than react badly to whatever is going on in front of you. And we take inspiration from the military. Think of our marksmen, markswomen. Try and get back into the camera with my gun. So imagine this is the rifle, okay? I'm sorry for my military friends that might be watching this. Just go with this, just go with it. The rifle and the marksman or markswoman about to take the shot. You'll know this from your military training. Breath number 1, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. All the while, controlling your breathing, controls your physiology, your body, helping you hold the weapon solid, secure, to get that accurate shot. But it's more than that. The 3 breaths allowing you to relax your mind, to focus, and to respond well rather than react badly to whatever is going on in front of you, to make the right decision. Click. So back to Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, we have a choice. 3 breaths will calm your body, calm your thinking, and help you make the right choice. It seems simple, doesn't it? We know this stuff already. But even though we know it, how many of us actually connect with it? So the stuff we're doing today in this video is about practice, practice, practice. So it kicks in automatically to help you out. And your breathing, of course, is there all the time, ready to go. Nobody needs to know that you're practicing this stuff. It's there, ready to go. 3 breaths will help you respond well rather than react badly to whatever is going on in front of you. So what we're going to fill that space with? We've already talked about the mantra from our underwater search teams. As long as you've got air and can breathe, everything else can be worked out. Okay. So what if you're an overthinker? What if that space tends to get full of stuff that you're not sure about? Your mind races ahead of itself. You worry about stuff, natural worry. You're worrying about stuff that's already happened, maybe worrying about stuff that's still to come. Very, very common thing. I'm an overthinker. And when we do the classes, many people put their hands up. I'm an overthinker. I worry about stuff. Natural. It's a natural thing. How do we control that? Here we go. Back to the flip chart for circles of influence. Now's the time. If you'd like to take a break, we take a break. Continuing now with the circles of influence. Here we go. Super simple, this one. We've created the space by breathing. We apply the logic to this. Center circle. Your thinking, your actions, all about you. No problem at all with that. What you're going to wear today, what time you're going to get up, what route you're going to take to work, where you're going on holiday this year, that kind of stuff. All about you, no issues with that whatsoever. Center circle, all about you. Next circle, stuff you can influence. So stuff you can have a say over. You know where I'm going with this one. You know where I'm going with this one already. We're just reconnecting with stuff, the valuable stuff that we already know. Here we go. Happy for you to spend your emotion, your thinking, your time, and your emotional energy in stuff that you can influence. And there it is. Second circle. Third one. You know where I'm going with this. Be guarded about using your time and emotional energy on things that are outside of your control. So we know about this stuff. We already know. But how many of us spend our time here, out here, instead of in the inner two circles? Just to add on to this one, some of the half-day courses get to see this, and this is about sticking to facts. So if you're an overthinker, you tend to worry about stuff. Maybe you get a text message that comes in with a bit of information and you're not sure, or you hear something from somebody, but it's only half a story. And your mind automatically starts to spin out of control about what could that be, what's happening, what's going on. Here's the antidote, and this will serve you well every day of your life. Straight out of detective training, stick to facts. Stick to the facts. Stick to what you know to be true. From a personal perspective, the side of my body, I have a mole, small mole. A few years back, the mole changed shape, changed colour, and got a raggedy edge. All the signs, potentially, of a change towards a cancerous mole. So given that scenario, straight away, of course, straight to the doctors to get it checked out. Let's apply the analogy. If I see the mole, the changes to the mole, and I stick to facts, the facts are, I have a mole, it's changed, but that's all I know. Think about that, our overthinkers, straight away your mind is cascaded towards, this is going to be cancer, I'm going to die. You go onto Google, worst thing you can do unless it's controlled very tightly, onto Google, and that will spin you all over the place, down different pathways, different thoughts, head smashed into the middle of next week. I'm sure you'll agree, I certainly can understand that one. So we apply the analogy, Russ, you've got a mole and it's changed. Right thing to do, get it checked out, of course. End result, Mr. Magnall, thank you for coming and getting it checked out. Nothing serious. It's just a normal sign of aging. Wow. Let's take a drink of water while I think about that one. How easy could it have been as an overthinker, not knowing the technique, to let my head get smashed to bits? So in that space that we've created with our breathing, 3 breaths, maybe you could fill that space with stick to the facts, stick with what you know to be true. Maybe this is the time to have a brew and take a break. So we've discussed our 3 breaths, we've created the space, we know that breathing slows our body, slows our mind, helps us to respond well rather than react badly to whatever we are confronted by. We've introduced a mantra for me for underwater search. As long as you have air and can breathe, everything else can be worked out. Start to drain the bucket straight away. Always about what you think, of course. And then for our overthinkers, circles of influence, be guarded about spending time out here. Do spend your time over stuff you can have an influence over. I'm drilling down just a little bit more. Stick to the facts. When you get a little bit of information, stick to what you know to be true. What else can we fill that gap with? We're doing our 3 breaths. What else can we fill it with? Want to introduce you reconnect you with the concept of gratitude, being grateful for stuff. When we do this exercise in the classroom, so maybe have 20, 30 delegates in the room, more or less, I'm going to go percentage-wise, 98% we will get on the flip chart: health, yes, house, friends, family, job, money, this country where we live, all the big things. 100%, no argument. Of course, we're grateful for all the big things, 100% with you on that one. But I want to introduce you to the concept of being grateful for some of the smaller things in life. One of the roles I had as a police officer was that of counter-terrorist search team leader. So as a sergeant with 6 PCs, we would go up to Catterick Army Camp once every 3 years for relicensing. Our job to work alongside the military to keep Manchester safe, high-level search. When we do the training in the classroom, some of you have already been on it, you'll be familiar with the props that we bring in there, the malt love, the bottle, the circuit board, and other bits and bobs for you to have a little play with. And every 3 years, the team would go up to Catterick, work alongside bomb disposal, and we would be relicensed for search. A few years back, we get to the end of our relicensing. We've gone out into Richmond, had a curry, a few beers, and it's back to the army camp. Gets to about 11:15 at night. I'm tired, want to go to bed. My lot: no, you don't, you're not going yet. You're around at the bar, get to the bar, get the drinks in, Sarge, of course. So I go up and stand at the bar. To the left of me is a soldier, still in green military uniform, combats. I'd say about 30 years old, 6'2", good-looking lad, big mop of dark hair. And he turns to me, I'm in civilian clothing. He looks at me, he said, "Who are you? Don't recognise you. You're not military. You're not one of us. What are you doing here?" So I explained I was a police officer. We were here on relicensing, and we'd had a good week, and we were just celebrating with a few beers. And the banter started, all in good spirits. And I remember him, he said to me, he said, "Can't believe they let you lot in here, the police. This is the last place we can come and have a proper drink without you lot getting on our case." But it was all in good humour, all in good fun, no harm. And we're bantering and we're chatting. And I'd had a few drinks, I was ready for bed. But at one point, the soldier turned towards me, and his left arm from here down to his hand was a claw. And I must have almost sobered up in an instant, and my face must have told him everything he needed to know. And still bouncing around, he said, "Go on, mate, I can see you looking. Ask me anything you want to know. Don't be shy, your mother wasn't." And we talked about how he'd lost his left arm in Afghanistan, a roadside bomb, IED, improvised explosive device, how he'd lost some friends over there during that same incident. From that day on, I will always be grateful for my hands, what I've got. But it's bigger than that. I'm grateful for a blue sky, for a beautiful sunrise, for the mist on the fields in the morning, for a beautiful spider's web, the crunch of leaves in autumn on a frosty morning as you walk along, for the water that comes out of our taps. I will always be grateful for the smaller things. The raindrops on the washing line will always be my diamonds. So how can you use this and fill that space? I invite you to consider filling the space with gratitude, not just for the big things in your life, but for the smaller things as well. The beauty of nature, a smile from a stranger, a laugh and a joke when you weren't expecting it, the tiny little things. The more often you practice, they say, an attitude of gratitude, You build it into that space. The flow in your life changes in a really good way. All you have to do is notice these things and build them in. Gratitude. We're nearly done. You're pleased to know. So I mentioned that I had a career as a dog handler, and I want to talk to you about dog handler determination. So here's the thing. You have a picture here, my police dog Anchor. I'm going to bring it up to the camera for you. Not sure whether the lights may misbehave here a little bit. There she goes. You can just about see her there. Beautiful girl. Sadly, no longer with us. She crossed the Rainbow Bridge some years ago. But dog handler determination is a specific technique unique to Safe and Sound Wellbeing.com. And here's how it works. As a dog handler, those that have got animals, you will know the bond between the dog, your dog, and yourself is like that. I would have died for this dog. This dog would have died for me. The bond, the love, the mutual affection and love that we had for each other. She would have died for me. And rightly or wrongly, I would have died for her. Number one. That weight of love weighs heavily on my shoulders and pushes us on to do great things. Number two, up here, and it's always about what you tell yourself. Number two, police dog training in this country is amongst the best in the world. 16 weeks long. The only longer training courses are firearms courses, of course, for obvious reasons. They're tough courses. Our training is good. I know that it's world-class training. Number two, thought sits in here, weighs heavily on my shoulders, but in a good way. And number three, this is the biggie. When our communities, the communities of Manchester, or my colleagues call for the services of a dog and handler, the S has hit the fan. You are expecting us to do a good job, to do our best. That weight of responsibility, number three, sat on my shoulders, but in a good way. Three tiny thoughts added together delivers a huge outcome. The power of three, pushing us on to do more, go further, work faster, work harder. To find that 93-year-old man that's gone wandering out of his care home on a cold February night at 11 o'clock at night. You, Russ, have got 1 hour to find this man or he will die. The power of three things push us on to do amazing things. To the guy that's up there in that front bedroom window, holding his wife and children hostage with a machete. That weight of responsibility on our shoulders, weighing us down, but in a good way, pushes us on. So when me and my dog go through that door to defend that family and bring the offender to justice, there's only going to be one winner, and it's going to be us. You can't quite see it on camera, I don't think, but in the room, you'll see my knuckles go white. What you tell yourself up here transports into your body. The body and the mind connected, and that's a great example of how that works. Dog handler determination. Now, let me share how that can work for you. Each and every one of us has a flame in our belly. Sometimes it flickers, drives us on when all is good, everything's okay, the flame is there. And sometimes it's tiny when we're going through tough times, when we're challenged, when we're struggling to cope, when we seem to get laid on into the bucket of hit after hit after hit, and that flame can be tiny, but it's still there. And sometimes when things are going well, you've got the success, you know, you've landed a new job, there's a new baby in the family, whatever it is, The flame is roaring, of course, but the flame never goes out, ever, until we die. So how can you use dog handling determination in your life? Here is how you do it. You choose 3 things, your 3 things. It can be anything. How far you've come, a specific achievement, somebody at home that you're doing it for, maybe somebody that's passed and is no longer here. The choice is yours. But you identify 3 things you can hold in here as thoughts, 3 things you can hold here in your heart, so that when your flame starts to flicker a little bit dimmer, you can use those 3 things, tap into them, and use them to turn that flame up. Arm again, muscles in the arm, just talking about it, transports into your body. Choose 3 things, and it can be anything. It's very personal to you, this technique. 3 things added together that you tap into at any time, use them to spur you on. And sometimes for our military veterans, Safe and Sound Wellbeing do a lot of work with military veterans. Sometimes a really good day for them is just getting out of bed. This technique works for me, it works for them, and it will work for you too. Practice, practice, practice. And the final thing you were pleased to know before we come to the end is my number 1. For those that have been on any of my courses, you will have seen this before. So it's empty. It's a bleach bottle. Danger, acid. And the reason we have this as a prop in the room, incidentally, Safe and Sound Wellbeing is delivered with stories underpinned by science, but with over 30 props, articles, and exhibits to bring the training to life. So it's different. The reason we have this to signify the acid is that if you don't talk, if you keep things locked up in here, it sits there corroding from the inside like an acid, eating away at you. Talking, sharing your troubles, whether that's with a loved one, a trusted colleague, a friend, the Samaritans, if things have got really tough. And there's so many online support agencies now that you can turn to talk to, and nobody needs to know. But the simple act of talking and getting things out of your head dilutes the acid. It gets that stuff out of there and puts it into the middle of the room so we can shine a light on it, make it less dark, less scary. And we're only tapping in to stuff our nanas and granddads told us years ago. A trouble shared is a trouble halved. So everybody out there, especially you men, especially you guys, if you're struggling, reach out, talk to somebody. Go back to my military veteran friends. Talking gets it out of your head and will help you move forward with less acid burning inside. Ladies and gents, that's us done for this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you found it useful. If you would like to know more, if you would like to sort of enhance the stuff that we've already done, or indeed learn some new tips, tools, and techniques, 3 things that you can do. Follow me on LinkedIn at Russ Magnol. I post almost daily about this kind of stuff, so please give me a follow, and that is there for free. Go to safeandsoundwellbeing.com, my website, for more resources. There's loads of stuff on there to inspire your thinking around mental health and well-being. And through the website, you can also book a half-day, one-day masterclass or leadership courses to help you build compassionate leaders where you work. And you can do that via the website as well. I hope you found it useful. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. God bless. Keep well. See you again.